first game of 2019, Coach. Will Anthony Davis be able to go this evening?
Yeah, he'll play. It was just one of those deals where, we've all had young kids, and his daughter, was sick, and she made him sick also. So I think he'll be fine, though.
It happens. What does your starting lineup look like tonight?
It's basically the same thing, just obviously AD instead of Jaleel. So it's the one that we would have started if he would have been healthy.
Is there still a minute restriction on Alfred as far as total minutes in the 6-minute stretches that he plays?
Well, not so much a restriction, but, we're not going to pay him 35 minutes. It's his second game back. So realistically, probably, the low to mid-20s, somewhere in that area right there. But, excuse me, it's not going to be a situation where he's going to play 35 minutes,
Did you like the impact on Drew? I know that Drew, as we talked about throughout the season, he's had a ton of responsibility. Just the impact that Alfred made right in the very first game.
Yeah, I don't think it was so much Drew. I think it was the overall team. Sure. We just seemed to have, a much better flow. The transition pitch aheads were much better, and we were able to get some three-point shots that we hadn't had in a while. By the pace of the game. And so I think all of those things were real positive with him being on the floor. And as you said, it put Drew back into a situation where we weren't totally dependent on him, from the standpoint of orchestrating plays, scoring, defending the best player. So it gave Drew a little bit of a break, yeah.
You were one of several teams that came from behind in the fourth quarter to beat the Nets during a really bad stretch for them. When you look at them now, they've kind of done a U-turn. Do you see a different team than the one you faced previously?
I think they're probably, if you look at it realistically, they're playing probably as well as any team right now. They've been able to, what they have is that they have a bunch of guys that have the ability to score. They love the pace of the game. They've got a bunch of shooters that they can put out there. And, they've been able to close games. And I think in this league, when you get to the point where you're able to close games, that helps you. We've struggled in that area. And, they found a way, especially in their last 10 games, 10, 11 games. And can't count the other night. I mean, they're sitting out, they sit out their best players, really. And so, you go back from there and see what they've done. They're in a real good rhythm and playing really good basketball.
You're playing a lot of zone lately. What kind of preparation changes does that cause you?
Not a whole lot, because I think basically all NBA defenses is a little bit of have a little bit of a zone concept to it. So you just got to be able to move the basketball and create shots. And I think when you play zone in the NBA, you're saying that you can't beat us from the outside. And so if you're not knocking down shots, the zone becomes very effective. So you got to be able to make some shots. The thing that it takes away from is dribble penetration and getting the ball to the basket. So you just got to. You can't overthink it, I think. You just got to play and play with pace. When you play with pace, sometimes you put yourself in a position where zones can't get set.
What's been your impression of Jaleel, particularly over the last 10 games, and just how he's adapted to a faster pace this season?
I like him in that, he's an extremely hardworking guy, and we forget how young he is. He just turned 23 years old. He's there early. He's there after practice. You sit down and watch film with him. I still think he's going to have a good career in this league. I really do. He's helped us. He's played some really valuable minutes for us. And the other night he started, and I thought he set the tone early by taking the ball and getting it to the basket. So I think he's going to continue to get better and expand his game. And we like him. He worked himself into the rotation. You go back and look. There's a ton of DMPs that didn't discourage him at all. He continues to just work and try to get himself better.
How would you define his role right now for you guys?
I would say that he's a guy that has the ability to guard, some of the bigger, stronger guys that we face in the league. The Drummonds of the world, and we'll put him. The Embiids and stuff like this, just to have a big guy that can bang with those guys. Yeah. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right. Happy New Year.